Multiple explosions in Ukraine's Kherson were filmed by a drone on Wednesday as local authorities reported Russian air and artillery strikes.
Okay, we got Trump, the master negotiator. He's supposedly negotiating on this Ukraine war. And he just gets pissed off because everybody didn't do what he said.
Would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I would sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in one day?
Because I'll meet with Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over.
The 24-hour negotiator. He will get this war done 24 hours. Even some of them, he says, I'll have it done before I'm even president. It'll just, me and Putin, we know each other and blah, blah. I can negotiate, blah, blah, blah. It's the biggest fallacy out there that this guy is actually some kind of negotiator. He couldn't negotiate his way out of a paper bag. I mean, this is, okay. He says, well, these guys are not being sensible, so we're just going to walk away.
Secretary Rubio said that the U.S. will have to figure out whether a deal can be done between Russia and Ukraine in a matter of days, or you will just move on.
Yeah, very shortly.
How many days is that?
No specific number of days, but quickly. We want to get it done. If for some reason one of the two parties makes it very difficult, we're just going to say you're foolish, you're fools, you're horrible people, and we're going to just take a pass. But hopefully we won't have to do that.
These kind of things you really don't walk away from. These are important. This is about, foreign policy and wars and so on. Because it didn't work out right away, he's just going to walk away. You can listen to Marco Rubio say, well, yeah, in the next few days, this is going to have to come due.
The first to be substantive, high-level, in-person, and to include European powers.
But we're not going to continue with this endeavor for weeks and months on end. So we need to determine very quickly now, and I'm talking about a matter of days, whether or not this is doable over the next few weeks. If it is, we're in. If it's not, then we have other priorities to focus on as well.
Okay. His marching orders came from Trump. Trump he's mad because Russia won't do what he asks and Ukraine won't do what he asks, and so he's just going to walk away from not do anything. I don't want to deal with this. It pissed me off. Negotiations like this oftentimes take years. I remember the negotiations in Vietnam. They did take years. None of this stuff is that easy. He likes to say, oh, it's just so easy. I'll just fix it right away. Yeah, I'll fix the economy. I'll fix everything. None of this stuff works the way he does. He just tries to fake it and then move on. He is condemning a lot of soldiers and a lot of civilians to die by what he's doing. No, yeah, he talks about, everyone's dying. Everyone's dying. We got to do something, but you guys piss me off, so I'm not going to do anything. This guy is such a joke. And he's always got to play this kind of tough guy that nobody would ever mess with, because he's so good at this. And, I used to negotiate in real estate, mostly in real estate, not big time or anything, but I would never, ever do something like that. I've had negotiations that went on for well over a year. Things weren't right, wasn't going to work. So we backed off a little bit, and then we'd come back in, and when maybe something had changed, somebody changed their mind or something, and you don't just get mad and leave. You always leave that door open. Trump doesn't like to do that. Some of the things that, one of the things that, he went after Columbia University, and this is actually related. he was angry at Columbia University because he wanted, he's trying to do this big development that it never did work out. He went belly up in that thing, and it just didn't work. Columbia University wanted a satellite campus, and they thought, well, they'll put it in this development. And they had a specific spot they wanted, and he said, I want $400 million for it. And I've talked about this before, but Columbia goes and looks at the numbers on it. They had it appraised. I think Goldman Sachs appraised it at $90 million. And he wanted $400 million. And he says, well, we're not going to do that. And he gets mad at them because they wouldn't do it. That's not a negotiator. That's just stupid. You're not going to get anything negotiating that way. That's why so many times the things he did just lost. He's just being obtuse, and you don't win that way. And he's not winning that way with this Ukraine-Russia war. A good negotiator would have looked at this and calmly dealt with it. He just gets mad because things don't work out the way he wants. And we're going to pay for this kind of stuff. The Ukrainian people, the Russian people are going to pay for this sloppiness, this man that has no humanitarianism in him. He has no integrity. He's just bare, steal everything I can. And that's what we got. Maybe there'll be something come out of this. I don't think so. I think the sides are too far apart. But you could have worked this out. You could have done it. It would have taken a lot longer, and it would have taken commitment. But not this guy. That's it on this one.